It should come of no surprise to you that after 6 years since the release of Grand Theft Auto 5, that Grand Theft Auto 6 is currently in the works over at Rockstar North and a variety of Rockstar offices across the world. Now, many fans have been speculating over the last few months since the release of Red Dead Redemption 2 when Rockstar Games will announce Grand Theft Auto 6 and when we'll get some sort of acknowledgement that it is currently in development by Rockstar Games themselves. Now, since Red Dead Redemption 2 Online still currently has its beta tag and isn't expected to leave that beta period until sometime later this year, it's pretty safe to say that we won't hear anything about Grand Theft Auto 6 until later this year or maybe even in 2020. Now, lots of people are also saying, with that information being taken in, that Grand Theft Auto 6 will probably, most likely, be a PlayStation 5 and whatever the next generation of Xbox is, exclusive, so the title will only be available on next generation hardware, and that is simply put down to the fact of how ambitious Rockstar Games are known to be with their open worlds and their creative projects, and it's highly likely that it will utilize the full potential of the next generation hardware. Now, of course, many leaks that are coming out in the recent months are not really plausible, but yesterday some leaks did come out over on Reddit which are kind of plausible and do have some sort of solidity in their claims. So we're going to take a look at that today, and this was actually released over on Reddit on the /Reddit AMA page, which basically stands for Ask Me Anything. And what's interesting about this is, unlike most leaks, this person didn't approach GTA forums or a GTA hashtag on Twitter or a Reddit page dedicated to the Grand Theft Auto franchise, but this person posted this on a completely different page as you would if you were trying to troll and trying to get attention. Now, at first the post started off quite slow with a few replies here and there, but as soon as it caught wind of those people over on GTA forums, I shared it over there myself as well as various other pages, well, it kind of took off and exploded, and there were over 130 questions submitted to this user. Now, what's the most interesting about this is you may be thinking this information is false, but do take into account that this account for some reason was removed from Reddit a few hours later. Now, you could either put that down to the fact that Rockstar Games requested it to be removed due to sensitive information being shared, or maybe they were simply trolling, but I will leave that up to you guys to decide as we look at some of these questions that they answered and take a look at some of these details. So as you can see, they start their post by saying, "I am a former Rockstar Games employee of 2 years. Ask me anything pre-2019. As stated above, I am a former Rockstar North employee that works on video games who recently moved to the South UK to work for EA over in Guildford." Now, that is actually a place over in the UK. It's actually in a place called Surrey, not Sussex, but they do explain that they did move there recently and that they've been promoted sometime in 2017 to an artist whilst working at Rockstar North. Now, Rockstar North is of course the main headquarters for Rockstar Games that work on the Grand Theft Auto franchise. He does say, "Please refrain from asking me anything related to projects post 2018 as I left shortly after January of this year. Many thanks." So it looks like this person who works at Rockstar Games, whoever they are, has worked there up until January of 2019. Now, one thing I want to point out immediately is that this user's name is Queensferry Cat. Now, Queensferry is actually a location in Edinburgh, which could suggest the place in which this person lived at the time of creating this account. I'm not sure, I'm not familiar with Reddit myself, but it's definitely very interesting that Queensferry Cat is written there in their username, and that is a location up in Edinburgh, not far from the Rockstar HQ. So someone asks, "What did you spend your days doing? How was the company culture? Was it a fun place to work? And what are the best departments to work for in a game company?" So he said that he mostly textured things like trees, bark, wood, rocks, then slowly worked towards modeling and some environmental art. He said he only worked in that for a few months, but finally got to work on things like guns, cars and interiors. I got given a certain part of map to work on, including roads, bridges and buildings, but once it got interesting I had to move back to the south of the UK. Now what's interesting about that is of course that Red Dead Redemption 2 doesn't have cars, so when he mentions guns, cars and interiors, I'm really interested as to what that relates to, whether that's GTA Online DLC or GTA 6, they don't specify. He did also say that he had a certain part of map to work on, including roads, bridges and buildings, so why would he need to work on the map if the map was the GTA 5 map, which we already know is complete and available right now in GTA Online and GTA 5 story mode. He also says once things got interesting he had to move back, which I'm also wondering why he uses that word. It's interesting that he uses the word interesting in that way. But anyway, that's as much as I know. So on the next question, do you have any idea when GTA 6 is coming out? It doesn't seem like a question that would get him into trouble, and his answer was as simple as not until next generation, that's for certain. He also goes on to explain that Agent was apparently used to create LA Noire, very similar games, and that's probably why Agent, a very famous Rockstar game, was never released in the end anyway. The next question, when/if you play a game you've worked on, do you enjoy it / take pride in your work, or do you remember all the work you put into it and end up not enjoying the game at all? I've been playing a lot of Red Dead Redemption 2 and I love the detail and dedication. And so he replied, or she replied, yes, I love it. I vividly remember playing Red Dead Redemption 2 as I got a free copy for my work, in brackets we all do. Now that is actually some valid information. It's pretty common knowledge that Rockstar Games employees do get free copies of their games. He says, or she says, I saw a few locations I helped build and many textures I helped create. The best thing I've seen in Red Dead Redemption 2 that I helped make was Tumbleweed in Armadillo. I was allocated to helping recreate the location and surrounding areas. I used my experience with working on the desert in other titles too that were equally as ambitious. Now that last line there about the desert being used in other titles that were just as ambitious also seems really interesting there. And I'm wondering what other projects from Rockstar is he referring to or she referring to that is using and utilizing this individual's skill in creating realistic deserts. Now that could confirm that GTA 6 of course has a huge desert area, maybe beaches, and that's pretty much not a surprise. It's nothing groundbreaking in terms of information there anyway. But someone says, do you have any idea when the next GTA will be set? And they replied, I think a lot has changed since I left. Last I heard it was more than one location, multiple. Now multiple is not the word two or a couple or a city name, it says multiple, which is leading me to believe that maybe this game is going to be set in not 2 but 3 locations. And there's many rumours going around right now that Liberty City, Vice City and South America are going to be the locations that GTA 6 is set. Now lastly, the last question here is, hypothetically, does what they've done for GTA 6 look good? Hypothetically. I think we all know, of course, the game is coming. Since I don't work there anymore and the alleged leaks are out there, I will say it's better to be in the know. Now, the interesting part about this is they've explained that they can't say much about GTA 6, but because the leaks are already out there, it's better to stay in the know. Now, The Know is a video game journalism company which last year or the year before leaked some details about GTA 6 that they claimed came from a credible source. And some of the information that has come out in recent months, such as Liberty City and Vice City, have also correlated with that leak, which is super interesting in my opinion. Finally, last but not least, I'm going to say this, there has been a new review posted on Glassdoor, also by an employee that works at Rockstar, or supposedly, and they gave a pretty negative review. But one thing that's important to take a note of is that if you take a look in the third line or the fourth line, it says to get to playtest the newest consoles on the market and unreleased kits, which confirms that this Rockstar employee who is currently working at Rockstar Games is working on unreleased dev kits, which of course would mean PlayStation 5 and the next generation of consoles, whatever they would be. Now, unfortunately, the link for this Reddit Q&A is not available anymore, so you can't find any of these questions. I'm so glad I screenshotted the answers when I did. Let me know down below what you think about this leak, and I want you guys to stay cool, stay awesome, and if you want to stay up to date with all of the Red Dead Redemption 2 and GTA 6 information, you'll hear it here first. Adios!